Okay, in this video, we're going to cover a topic in that we can do in Flutter, and that is to use something from AWS called Cognito. So here is a feature that we can use within AWS, and it's called Cognito. And what Cognito is it's a way for you to build a community of users or even groups within your users. And some users can belong to a group, and other users can belong as having admin rights within your application. So in doing so, we're going to basically utilize AWS Cognito. So you do have to have a AWS account, and the Cognito features are a part of the free tier, so you can still get to these without having to pay um, for a lot of money or any money. We're also going to be using this documentation from the Amplify document website. I will put the link for this in the description, and we're focusing on using it from the Flutter point of view. At this time, at the time of this video recording, there are basically two generations of Amplify for connecting to Cognito using a Flutter application. There is Gen 1 and then there's Gen 2. We're going to be focusing on Gen 2, which is the latest current version. So if you make sure that you follow through these prerequisites here, make sure you have these. So like I said, it does require having a AWS account. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a simple brand new Flutter app here. And then we're going to open up the project by going into the folder. And after creating the project without doing much, we're just going to type this command, and that's going to initialize the project to use Amplify. And once you have that all done, you will have a project that will look sort of like this. And you will see that it will, from a brand new Flutter app, it will create these folders. There's an Amplify, .amplify, node modules, and some others as well. And within the lib folder, you will eventually see this output, but you will see that come a little bit later. But if you open up this Amplify folder, you can, if you kind of look at it kind of briefly here, there is two folders, auth and data, and there's resource and resource in each one, and backend. This is considered to be a Gen 2 type of Amplify project for Flutter. I had made a Gen 1 project earlier, and so a Gen 1 will sort of look like this. It would have much more different kinds of directories here. Under the Amplify, it's got .config, backend, hooks, and then under backend, you will see something like this version 1 in the CLI inputs. And so that kind of tells you that this is a Gen 1. And I will mention some other things that will give you a clue that you're using Gen 1 approach versus Gen 2. So after we created this project, so if I go back to the instructions here, and I were to follow through all this, what happens is all of these Amplify folders and content gets created, as well as this node module folders, which is common for a Node.js project. So there are Node.js elements within your Flutter application. Keep that in mind. And so then what you'll have is you'll get something that looks like this, what I showed you. And then um, when you run this from your root folder of your project, it will run and then it will basically look something like, let me see if I still have it here. No, it's not there anymore, but I still have it on my command prompt. So it will look sort of like here like that. And if I run it again, I just run sandbox. It won't do any damage, but you'll see sort of the output of what it does here. Okay. I'll just let this run so I don't interrupt it. Um, okay. So after this runs, what you'll see is that when it is done, it won't exit nicely. It actually just sort of sits here with file written to amplify outputs.json, and it will just sort of sit here without exiting or prompting that it is done. So you just hit Control C to exit out of this, and it's basically going to write out the contents of these files. And I don't think it did any changes since the previous run. Yeah. Okay. So after it runs, and it takes maybe about a couple of minutes to finish, depending on your network speed. And then you will add these dependencies into your project. So if you go to here and look at here, I just did, instead of copying and pasting these, I just did something like Flutter pub add, and then each one of these. If I do these individually, then they will add individually. You can add them all in one line, and this command will handle multiple plugins in one command line invocation.
Please subscribe to this channel and like this video to support this kind of work.
So after that is done and you run flutter pub get, then you can actually just copy and paste this main Dart straight into and replace the one that's part of your vanilla Flutter application. So that's what I did. I just copied and pasted this main Dart into here and just replaced the content. And then I ran the program. Okay. So right now I'm set up to run on the Android simulator. So let me run this. Since I ran it before, it didn't take that long. So here is the application running right now. So it is a sample, either create an account or sign in. And if you do a sign in, for example, with an email account, and for the default, it does require email validation to create an account. So I'm going to put this here. Course gmail.com, and then I'm just going to add my own password here. Great. And now it's going to stay on the screen and waiting for you to check your inbox for this for a verification code. So if you go to here, you will notice that a new email arrived, and then you're going to copy the code from there into here. Before I hit enter, I'm going to go to the Amplify pool here and look at the users. And you're going to see here that I have one from a previous run that I did. And you're going to see the one that is coming through right now, comp course. And you see that email has yet to be verified. It's still unconfirmed. And that's why, because we haven't sent in this code yet. So if we now send in the code, it connects back to AWS Cognito here. And now basically we are logged in to our application here. Okay. So if I refresh the screen here, now it shows that this comp course user account is now verified. So if I log out, now instead of creating an account, I'm going to just log in using the account that I just created. There we go. We're logged in again. So this is basically how a very vanilla way of being able to create a Flutter application that you can set up to have your users create an account or log in. And then with this is basically an OAuth system, and I'll put a link about what OAuth is. But with OAuth, you can basically then be able to use this OAuth technology to then protect any kind of access to some endpoints that you might create with somebody who would create these RESTful endpoints. So you create these RESTful endpoints, and then once you create those RESTful endpoints, you can send the OAuth tokens to those endpoints, and then the RESTful endpoints can then validate and verify that those OAuth tokens are still valid. And you can also verify who it is and what their role is. And then basically you have an application here on the Flutter side that you can authenticate your users, and you can actually verify their role, and you can actually you can extend Cognito here to have different groups like here, and you can also set it up so that Cognito can actually extend to other social media type of networks like Google single sign-on or Facebook single sign-on. But that's beyond what the basic Cognito functionality is. Okay, I will upload the source code for the project that basically just does this, and but I will minus out the part about connecting to my AWS instance, since you will have to create your own AWS instance.